Welcome to Let's Go Outside, a podcast bringing moms together to chat about the raw, unfiltered reality of doing the exploring we love after having kids. No matter your comfort level of adventuring with the little ones, this is a space to have honest conversations about the real struggles of getting out the door with the kiddos. I'm Danica, a mama living in a small mountain town who's totally obsessed with healthy food and taking my kids outside every single day. I professionally guided backpacking trips in the Canadian Rockies, and I'm certified as a Leave No Trace instructor. On the show, you'll hear real experiences from other moms, plus tips on gear, trail snacks, and the best practices in the wilderness. Whether it's hiking, camping, backpacking, skiing, or traveling the world you want to do more of, this is your place to learn, find encouragement, and strip away any comparison. Come embrace both motherhood and the outdoors. Stick around. This is your place. Welcome to the Outdoor Mom Club. Welcome to Let's Go Outside. Today we have Susanne Cupido. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Cupido, yeah.
Cupido joining us. She lives in Alberta like me, and she loves to explore. I connected with her through one of her reels that went viral about how taking your kids outside is a great place to have a tantrum. And that has always been something I believe too, of like, it's going to be hard days inside, so why don't we just go outside and experience that too? So welcome, Susanne. I'm glad that you're here.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yes. Give us the inside scoop about you and your family. I want to hear about how you got into adventuring.
Yeah, for sure. So, my name's Suzanne. I have two kids. One's a 3-year-old and one's a baby, almost 10 months old. We got into adventuring really early on. So as me and my husband were kids, our families just instilled that into us early on in our age. And when we met almost 11 years ago, that's something that kind of connected us together. And we said, if we ever have kids, we're going to do that with them. And we kind of believe this mindset of we don't have to stop our hobbies when we have kids. We're going to bring them along. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how we got adventuring with our kids. Yeah. We didn't want to give up anything. So they'll go skiing with us, cross country, obviously hiking of all sorts, canoeing, rafting, you name it. They're with us.
That's awesome. Okay, so you have a lot of memories adventuring as a kid. What were some of those sports that you did as a child?
So the child was more camping and hiking for
Okay.
my side of the family. With my husband Jeff, it was a lot skiing, cross country skiing. He did more like snowmobiling, snowshoeing. Like his parents did a lot of like winter hikes, whereas my family did a lot of these summer activities.
Yeah.
And so I just remember every summer we would always go camping almost every second week. And that was like the memory I love. And we always, in our tent, we actually did not have any mats. We actually slept on the ground in the tent. So we
Wow.
felt every route. And I thought it was great. I told my dad about it recently and he was like, yeah, sure. It was fun. I was like, I thought it was great. And I just remember playing like Yahtzee in the tent and it was good. I don't know. I thought it was a great experience and fun moment. So I kind of want my kids to remember that.
Yeah, and as kids, you can kind of sleep anywhere or on anything, and you're like, you're fine, and you're more resilient. And now getting older, you're like, okay, I definitely want that thick foamy.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what my dad was saying. He was like, yeah, sure, it was comfortable. I was like, I didn't mind it.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's funny. Yeah.
So you shared a little bit about how you wanted to take your kids along on all these adventures and stuff. Do you want to speak more into that about why you keep choosing to take them along on hikes and adventures?
Yeah, for sure. For us, it's like a way to connect with one another as well as for them to connect with nature. So we like to create these like shared experiences that foster like wonder and adventure into such a young age. Because with a baby and a 3-year-old, it's also about instilling these values, more so with a 3-year-old, resilience, curiosity, and appreciation for the outdoors. So we started hiking, so with George when he was 3 weeks old.
Yeah.
We did our first hike with him and we did a thirst of Cirque in Kananaskis. We learned a lot of lessons during that. Like
Aw.
I forgot my diaper bag. That was great.
You're like, I'm not
And
quite used
then
to having a baby yet.
it was wonderful. He
Yeah.
was resilient though. He survived. And then with Charlotte, we took her for her first hike at 2 weeks old, and we
Yeah.
did Black Prince Cirque. And I just think it really benefits them being in nature, right? They learn through like being independent. They gain this confidence. Even as a baby, they kind of gain this confidence of being used to the outdoors. So they're going to learn to nap in the outdoors, right? And sure, cry for them. It's just normal for them, right, to
Yeah.
be in nature themselves. As well as we choose hiking because it helps us slow down and be present with one another. Like the world
Yeah.
is so loud and so busy. You have so many distractions, like technology, right? TV, whatever, you name it. So it's just nice to be in nature itself and just listen to nature, no music, and actually have conversations with one another. Because sometimes that can be hard, especially with kids, to have conversations inside the house. So they're just so easily distracted. And it's, yeah, we just love it. So yeah, building lifelong memories, obviously showing the kids the outdoors and letting them love it, and just a way to escape the loudness from the world.
Yeah.
I
I love
believe.
that. I think the distraction thing is so key for not only the kids, but for us too. I feel like I can be so present with the kids when I am outside. And yeah, it just makes me keep wanting to do that again and again.
Yeah, and like you mentioned with that viral video that went out, when I said like why keep those indoor tantrums or cries inside when there's a whole world for them to explore while crying. It I feel like as parents, you not like lose your temper, but you get overstimulated being inside
Yeah.
quite often. So why not just bring that outside? And it's kind of like a calming environment. So they cry, you can tolerate them more. I don't
Yeah.
know. There's something just like healing about nature. And you're like, okay, it's the same noise, it's the same like pitch that you're crying that's inside, but yet I'm kind of tolerating it more outside. If that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
It doesn't ring between these walls. It goes beyond into the mountains. It's good.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that it was something that you as a couple did and then you brought your kids into it. And I think about that often. Before I had kids, it was like, let's kind of have this system or like these things that we know we're good at or like we are really comfortable with or that make us feel alive. And bringing kids into that is exactly what you're saying. I feel the exact same way of I know how to hike. So let's like, I don't really know how to parent yet, but like, let's bring the kid on the
Mm.
hike. That's something I'm comfortable with. And then let's figure out how to do the kid thing. And I don't think that's the way that everyone does it, but I can relate with you over that. And that was something that was really helpful because it was very stress relieving to be outside, I think, in the wilderness.
Yes. Yes. I found that I was like in a better mood being outside. And then in the end, like even when my like 3 year old at the time, almost maybe every hike, there is some episode that happens. It's just what's going to happen. But in the end, he always says, that was fun. And I was like, oh, great. I succeeded. So,
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah, I, I feel like that happens a lot, but sometimes it doesn't happen. And so when it does happen, I'm like, that's the cherry on top. Like, let's take a picture of this moment right now. Like,
Yeah,
like, oh, this is
exactly.
the best.
Yeah.
Aw.
So I do encourage people to try to hike with their kids or just bring them outside in general.
Even just to the backyard, right? Like when it's
Hmm.
like we don't have the time right now to pack up and do a big hike or a big adventure or the capacity, but even just like to the backyard is like, wow, that calms us all down and brings us back,
Yeah.
brings us centered again. So we're into winter now. Tell us more about the winter sports that you guys do and what kind of going outside in the snow looks like for your family.
Yeah, no, for sure. So we started our kid last season when he was 2 into skiing. So we tested that out and he surprisingly enjoyed it. So that's great. So we got him actually a set of skis because we rented at Revelstoke. And so that's what we're going to try this season is to take him out on some hills and some resorts. And so that he can actually kind of get the technique going. My husband will probably do most of the training because I'm a snowboarder. Um, and so we're excited about that. And then we do a lot of sledding and tubing. So we'll do
Okay.
that as well. cross country skiing is what we're going to try to do. Usually I rent um, those skis, but my 3-year-old has his own pair, and he's been just going around. What we do sometimes, like as neighborhood walks, I take him out on those skis, and he just does the pathway with the
Okay.
skis, and that kind of helps him. And skating we do, but usually we push the stroller for that one with the kids. And what else? I would say I think that's it. And then winter hiking. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people will do it, but yeah, winter hiking where it's possible.
That's awesome. Yeah. What does it look like for your daughter, like your baby, when your 3-year-old is skiing?
She will be in a little ergo harness. So I
Okay.
haven't tried it because I'm a snowboarder. So I know a lot of people kind of do, if they're skiers, they do attach the baby in the front and they do ski. As a
Okay.
snowboarder, I'm not confident enough to do that. I'm just
Yeah.
scared I might catch a toe edge. Um, so I think what it would be like one parent at a time, kind of with the
Okay.
kid, or just going on the bunny hill,
Yeah. Yeah.
and but just her still being outside. So I think that's kind of what it looks like. I kind of want to get her into skiing and snowboarding. I know some people start at 12 months. My husband said that's too early, but it's possible. I've seen it.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think I'm going to try to get her to be a snowboarder, but we'll
How
see.
many months is she now?
10. She's young,
Okay.
10 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is she walking or starting to walk?
She wants to, yes. She
Okay.
wants
Okay.
to. She's just climbing and she tries to let go, but she falls. So
Yeah.
get in there.
Aw, that's
Yeah.
awesome. You talked about winter hiking. Tell us more about that and what that looks like for your family.
Okay. So winter hiking, it all depends on the weather and how much snow a specific area got. And we always go to all trails to kind of see an updated review because not all of us have snowshoes, so we want to kind of do a winter hike that is packed down and that we think will be fun for the kids, essentially. And it's just basically our regular gear that we usually take, and then maybe micro spikes always. And
Yeah.
what we love to do while we do our winter hikes, we like to play games. We pretend there's an Olaf somewhere, so we're on a hunt for Olaf. Sometimes we throw snowballs. My kid's favorite, my oldest kid, my 3-year-old kid's favorite activity is going to the trees and just knocking down the trees. So kind of our winter activities involve a little fun.
I love
So it
that.
kind of gets them in the mood.
That's so good. Yeah. It's so important to get them excited and giggling while we're out there in the cold.
Mhm.
Do you have go-to places that you go to in your area or recommendations for the area?
Yeah, so our recommendations for like winter hiking would be Black Prince Cirque. I kind of mentioned that. That's
Okay.
my go-to. So Kananaskis area is usually my go-to because it's the closest to Cochrane and like Bragg Creek as well. Um, do you want to know like specific hikes or?
Yeah. If you have
Yeah,
stuff.
okay. Yeah, okay. So my specific hike would be Two Pines for Bragg Creek. Absolutely gorgeous. Depending on the conditions, I would either bring like micro spikes
Okay.
to go up a little bit, but it's super short, 130-meter elevation.
Okay.
Absolutely this landscape like panorama view of the mountains in the distance with like frosted trees. It's a must. And it's
Oh,
probably, if you're hiking with your kid on your back, it will be probably an hour hike total with like benches on top. Or if you're hiking with a kid, it might be like 2 hours, 2.5. Another one of our favorite is the Black Prince Cirque, which I don't think a lot of people do because it's a popular summer hike, but it's so packed down and it's just gorgeous with this massive mountain in the back. So you kind of hike all the way to Black Prince Lake, and you can go to the lake, like have lunch. That's what we do. We have lunch on the lake. But I do recommend snowshoes. We did not bring snowshoes last time, and we kept sinking in.
mm,
And our kid didn't because he was light enough. It was an amusing experience, and it's such a short hike too, and it's a lovely hike for your a kid to walk on their own.
Okay.
And yeah, that one's really fun. And then Cochrane has a lot of great walking trails all around, even just by the river itself or to the west of Cochrane. There's just a little path along the river. I recommend that as well.
Oh, yes, I think I've been on that trail. That it's so beautiful down
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay. Do you guys usually go out most days into the snow?
So, yes. So we try to do a walk, whether it's like a neighborhood walk every
Yeah.
day. I'm currently on maternity leave. So my goal
Okay.
is to go outside almost every day. Plus, we have a dog, so that kind of makes it easier because he needs to go
Yeah.
outside. But I do go back to work, and my husband does work full time, and I'll be working full time. So our adventures outside would probably be limited to the weekends in the winters because just it gets dark pretty early when you come
I
back
know.
from work.
I'm struggling
But
with
we can
that
go
with
in the
right now. Like I'm
yeah,
like, okay, well, we've got the morning and then the afternoon is all nap time and then it's dark. So
yeah, yeah. It gets dark what, like 5 o'clock? Maybe it's starting to.
yeah.
So when we do work full time, it's usually yeah, like limited to the weekends for
Yeah.
such activities. But they will be in a day home, and their day home takes them out to the
Yeah.
river, and
Oh.
so at least they're doing that. Yeah. So I'm kind of appreciated for that part of it. I'm really jealous because I'm stuck behind a computer when I'm working, and they're out
Yeah.
enjoying nature. But yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any tips or systems you want to share with us for how you keep hands and feet warm? That was a struggle for us
Mhm.
last winter. We slowly figured that out, but I want to hear from you.
Yeah, right. So yeah, so keeping your little kids' feet and hands warm is essential, right? As you probably know, the minute they're cold, it's game over. Or that's what I found anyways. Like they want to go home, they don't want to do this no more. So it quickly leads to discomfort. So we kind of like to, well, invest in gear. So no cotton at all because that absorbs moisture. So we like anything that's waterproof mittens instead of gloves because mittens actually trap heat more than gloves do, we found for a little one. And the mittens actually kind of stayed on more than gloves. And then for the feet, anything that's like insulated, we also like to do those like heat packs. We kind of buy them from Costco, and those help quite a bit. Or if they're getting cold, we kind of like snap one and kind of like put it underneath their foot to kind of help, or in their gloves, and that kind of gets their energy going. Another one is layer strategically. So you want your base layers, then you want your like insulated layer, like fleece on top of that, and then like a waterproof and proof outer layer. So, which we do like the bunting suit. So we like using like Columbia sportswear. It's kind of what I've been using, or Mech brands. And I kind of want to say, like, you don't need to do like the fancy brands. They all work. They all work the same. And I know at this time, like, affordability is such an issue.
Yeah.
And we kind of want to take our kids out, but it can be pricey at times, right? Because then you're like, oh, I need to buy this and this. But honestly, look for anything that's a fleece, polyester, and it should really do the trick, just layering them up.
Hmm.
Also pre-warm everything. I know there's some parents that like to like pack their car ahead of time, like the night before, which I
Okay.
hands to them. I never do that, but I wish I could.
Yeah.
And they put everything in their car so they don't forget anything for their adventure the next morning. But that could like create some cold, like gear to be cold, if depending if they're like in a garage or if they keep them in the yeah, in the garage, or if they're parked outside. So always like keep them inside prior to, because the last thing you want is your kid to like be stepping in something that's a bit cold and already like starting off the trail. Another one is important, keep them moving. That
Yeah.
that will be a tough one because sometimes they just want to, explore what's around them, or just, just not move. It's happened to us. So if that happens, we like to create like little quick games or challenges on the trail. Like I said, look for Olaf, or hit the snow off the trees, or like pretend we do like some stomping feet, like we're monsters. So that kind of gets them moving, that gets the blood going, keeping them warm. We always pack extras. You can never go wrong with packing extra socks, hats, mittens, because I will tell you, they will get wet.
Are you looking for the perfect winter boots that keep little toes cozy without weighing them down? I have been loving Jan and Jewel boots the last couple years for my boys. They are fleece lined, totally waterproof, insulated, and they can put these boots on by themselves. Jan and Jewel has an awesome selection of outdoor clothing, jackets, especially for rain or for winter, footwear, mittens. I love their sun hats. I especially love their extra small mittens. Don't have a thumb hold for my little guy. Let's Go Outside listeners get 10% off by using the code LGO10. I'm leaving the affiliate link in the show notes. If you click that link, I will get a small percentage of whatever you purchase with no extra charge to you. So check out this Canadian company. I've been loving it, and I think you will too. If you are into making healthy homemade snacks, I wanted to let you know that I have a huge library of homemade muffin recipes. They're all healthy. My goal is to make them nutrient dense with things like fruit, high in protein, whole wheat flour, low in sugar, no dairy. I mean, whatever you're looking for, it's there. The goal is that it won't break the bank and that you can actually find these ingredients, most being in your house. So go to besidethemountain.com/muffins and you'll find all of my recipes. My favorites are the gingerbread pumpkin muffin, the whole wheat apple muffins with banana, and the blender orange muffins. You're going to love them.
There was an experience we did. It was spring hiking, but there was a lot of snow. And my 2-year-old at the time thought it was a good idea to go in the water, knee deep.
They love water. It's just like a magnet for them.
And I was too distracted with the baby, and I turned around. I was like, "What is going on?" And all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh gosh!" Like, thankfully, I had extra shoes and extra socks and pants, but I was like, "What? Like, what?" Of course, this would happen. Yeah, this was not on my bingo card on this hike, but okay.
Take it from here. Let's see what happens. Good thing you were prepared. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I love that. I love those tips. That's so good. I like that you said warm stuff up, keep stuff warm before you put it on. And that just even made me think like throwing their pants in the dryer or before they put it on before you go outside.
Yeah.
Something like that even. Or I have tried doing a hot water bottle in the chariot or the stroller and giving that to them on their lap. And that has been also super fun because on those cold days, I often just will bundle them up and I'll go for a walk and I'll just push them or pull them.
Yeah.
And I still want to get out there, right? But they honestly, we wouldn't get out there because it's like minus 25. And I'm like, okay, we still have to get outside. We can still do this. You're going to wear all these layers. And then there's like a little bit of an extra, like, here's a hot water bottle.
Yeah. Well, that's a good idea. The hot water bottle, that's a good one for sure.
Yeah.
And such an easy one too.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Or like a rice bag would be so good too.
Yeah, exactly.
So good. Yeah. I'd be interested to know if you have a story of where you went on a story and you were like, what the heck were we thinking? This was so crazy. And how you got through that on that adventure with your kids.
I have so many moments. My husband probably has more what are we thinking moments than I do because I'm like calm and collective. And he's like, what are we doing? Why did you drag me along? I'll do one so we decided to do Prairie Mountain when Charlotte was 6 weeks old. I think that was one. And we were driving towards Bragg Creek and it was pretty windy. And we're like I'm looking at my husband's eyes and he's like, it's so windy. Like it's going to be crazy on top. And I'm just like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Because my talks are straight is we're going to do this no matter what. And it's not a good trait to have, but yeah, I think it's just the upbringing I had. So anyways, we're doing Prairie Mountain and we're probably 7 minutes from the top. And at this point, there's no trees, no shelter. And you can see the snow being blown off. And I would say it was probably 65, 70 kilometers an hour up there. And My husband's like, oh, I don't know if we should do this. I've only once never completed a hike. So again, my toxic trait is we will do this. And I don't know what the heck I was thinking. And so we probably only did like not even 2 minutes. And the snow was basically ice crystals going in my face. Thankfully, like Charlotte was inward, but George was on the carrier, and I like looked over, and I think his moment was like, "What did I do to deserve this punishment?" So I was like, "Okay, yeah, we'll like go back." And so we kind of went to the shelter of the trees, and he was just like frozen. And I was like, "Yeah, maybe my like I should have done that. I should have not got my ego into it. I felt so bad. Eventually, we warmed up, but it took a while to warm up with all that wind going. A lot of gloves, not ours, but a lot of people's gloves, hats, and mittens were gone
Oh,
forever.
wow.
Yeah, it was pretty windy. It was that was a moment like what were we thinking, or maybe for me, what was I thinking of pushing my family to keep going?
I know.
Uh, so that's kind of like a lesson is don't get your ego
Hmm.
ahead. I don't know. I'm pretty bad at that.
Yeah.
Another one was we did a hike and it was George's. I'm not quite sure his sixth hike on his own, but it was to Larch Valley at Lake Louise, and he hiked it all by himself. But it took a lot longer than anticipated, and I think in these moments we underestimate how much slower the pace would be, and the constant like stops for snacks or diaper change or these negotiations with him. And by the time we were like even halfway there, we're like, wow, that took a long time. Um, and so for us, it was okay. So if we want him to hike and learn to hike, we kind of got to start a bit earlier than kind of what we anticipate. Like we always add like maybe an hour on top, but sometimes it's not an hour is not enough. But we did make it. It was a whole day hike, but it was great. So it's
Yeah,
basically just like adjusting your expectations on the spot, right?
totally.
So like for the prairie mountain would be instead of like pushing to complete the hike, you just turn around and turn it into like a fun game. Like we gave him a lollipop, like here's a lollipop for your good work, or some sort of like something fun there. And he walked a little bit, did a toddler lead so he can like feel like he's in charge and kind of get that mindset away from him where he was just, I think, miserable from that win.
Yeah. The wind is crazy.
I
That
know.
is one factor that shuts us down.
Yep. Yeah, I created a reel and I was like, the number one thing that makes or breaks a hike is wind.
Oh man. I know. It's so true. It was so interesting. My husband and I did Fisher Peak in Cranbrook, by Cranbrook, for our anniversary in September. And we were going up to the saddle, and people were coming down, and they said, it's crazy at the saddle. Like, we are turning around. We've done this hike already. It's insane. So, like,
Mhm.
it's probably not worth trying. And my husband was like, yes, but it's the saddle. The saddle's the worst spot. Like
Yeah.
that's where the wind funnels through. So we got to the saddle and sure enough, it was insane. We were being blown over, like we had to yell to speak. And so we kept going up. And as soon as we kind of headed towards the peak, the wind stopped. And on top, it was perfectly still. And I think that's a lesson that I've been learning also
Mhm.
is be prepared for the wind. However, also notice if there's a wind tunnel or how can we avoid it going in the trees or on the one side of the mountain that's not windy, depending on what way the wind is coming from. But wind is just destructive.
It's, it's always going to be there. Yeah, you can't get rid of it.
Yeah. Aw. And I
Yeah.
love your optimism because I think you need that as a mom that's going outside because, or else we would never do it, right? Like you kind of need to
Hmm.
be stoked and carry that or just have goals or you need something to kind of carry you through because it is a lot of work to do these adventures with kids. And so I love that your husband went along with you and just cheered you on and then you were like, okay, this isn't actually gonna work.
And then he was like, I told you so. And I was like,
Yeah. And you're like,
okay.
okay. Yes, I know. Okay. Do you have encouragement to share with other mothers who want to keep exploring more or start getting outside more?
Yeah, for sure. I guess my biggest encouragement is to start small and just embrace the journey as much as the destination. So you don't have to plan an epic adventure right away. Like a small outing just to your local park or to your local nature trail or by the river can spark and build this sense of confidence. And so what I kind of want to encourage like moms to do, especially during winter, because winter can be a very like intimidating thing to have kids outside, is to practice what you would do if you want to go hiking in the mountains, is to practice it around your house or around your neighborhood. So like pick kind of a date where, let's just say it's -10, like you'd hike in the mountains if it was -10. So pick a day around your house where it's -10 and wear the same clothing you would in the mountains, dress your kids the same way you would in the mountains, bring that gear, whether it's your baby carrier, your ergo carrier, and just do a walk around your neighborhood and kind of test out that sense of, yeah, just test out the gear and like the moods, I guess, of your kids. And so that's what we did a few weeks ago. We always do that in the beginning of each winter season. Is I take the kids out and we test the moods and like prep ourselves. And I would even do like diaper changes
Mm.
outside or like have a little snack break outside. And then you kind of learn, okay, I dressed them too warm or I didn't dress them enough or I forgot, I should have brought like more snacks or something like that. So my encouragement is, yeah, just to start small and to prep around your house. And also just like remember that it doesn't have to be perfect. I think we're so caught up as moms to look at other people's experiences and life and be like, oh, why can't that be me? Or why are my kids not like that? Where I think we need to remember that everyone is so different and everyone's situations are so different and each kid is different in its own way. No kid is alike. Um, and I think I struggle with it sometimes because of social media. It's just everything's out there and in your face that you're like, oh man, this mom, goes almost every day out to the mountains hiking. Like, why can that me? What am I doing wrong? And I think as moms, we just need to remember we are doing an amazing job.
Hmm.
And your kids are not going to remember you taking them all the time on hikes. They're just going to remember the moment they've had with you and the
Hmm.
experiences. So I kind of want to
Yeah.
encourage moms to just not be hard on themselves and just remember you're doing a great job no matter what the adventure is. And you're setting a great example for your kids and showing them the value of curiosity, resilience, and connection with like the world around them. I thought my kid was gonna come. Sorry, but he just went to the bathroom. I was gonna be like, hello.
I love
Um,
it.
but yeah, it's like you're making space for exploration in your life. You're nurturing your own joy and growth within them, and so that will eventually benefit them. So it's kind of my words of encouragement to a mom.
I love that.
Is yes, start small, embrace your journey, know you're doing a great job, and don't compare yourself, as even though that's
Mm.
hard to do.
That's so true. Yeah, I think we all have different skills, and so if we can cheer each other on, what a beautiful place it'll be. Um, and yeah, it's all just different things, right? When in motherhood
Yeah,
and leaning into those strengths, and it does when we lean into those strengths.
yeah, and like as a mom, or as a parent in general, you don't know your strengths until you like are in that situation, as well as you learn something new every day.
Mm.
Like there's no manual for how to hike with the kids. There's just tips that people can give you, but really there's no manual how to hike with your specific kids. And I think we all also need to know like kids are going to be kids. You can, follow this list of what to do, but if a kid doesn't feel it, they're not going to feel it. I just think, yeah, just to stay positive and it's a big one too.
I love that. That's so true. There's no manual, and especially for your kids, like you got to just put in the time and just practice, try it out, and see what system works for you and your
Mm-hmm.
child, and follow that
Yeah.
because maybe what's on social media won't work for your family. That's so true.
Yeah, exactly. And also, yeah, and also thing I've learned is like I've hiked with a lot of like moms and a lot of these amazing influencer moms.
Hmm.
And I know when I talk to like moms, they kind of want to compare themselves to these amazing women, like these amazing influencers. But it's not always, like you said, it's not always what you see. Because a lot of people just want to put out like the positive stuff of their life. But you don't know, like they also struggle on hikes. And I've seen them struggle, like they struggle on a hike. So we all struggle, and it's like it's just normal. So I think we just need to remember that it's not, it's never going to be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's so true. Yep. I'm heading home because my kids are screaming and crying, and that's true
yeah,
for so many people.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And like as moms, you know your comfort level. You know when you're like, okay, this is, the sign that I need to turn around, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we know. Just, yeah, you know yourself, so just stick to it. Don't try to be like anyone else. Your kids love you. They're gonna love you if you go to the backyard. They're gonna love you if you go to the mountains. They're gonna love you if you even just go to the mailbox, regardless.
So good. Oh, I love that, Suzanne. What's your favorite place or your favorite trip that you've done with your family?
Okay, so sorry, Charlotte, you weren't around for this one, but it was my favorite one was last year. So every year on our anniversary in September, we always do a family trip since we've gotten married, and so we're on what year four. So yeah, so last year we went to the West Coast. So we kind of did I can't remember what highway it is, but we went to Whistler and then took the ferry to go to like Tofino. So that was our
Hmm.
family trip, and that was really, really fun. And we brought our dog along, and we just did so many hikes along the way, a lot of waterfalls. Um, and our kid was like at the age, because he was two, like understanding things for the most part. He was able to walk on his own. We did surfing, so he surfed as well. He was not sure about it, but we got him on there, just sitting. And then that's also kind of where we did our like gender reveal, like what we were gonna do, like what we
Oh,
were gonna, sorry, find out what we were gonna have. So that was a very special moment for us. Um, and so we love that trip. We have so many trips, and most of the trips are around our anniversary. This year we did, was also a favorite, I should say, was we went to Montana and we did Glacier National Park. And so we did, we bought an RV this year, like a used RV. And so we took our RV across the border
mm,
and we just like camped there and we did like these two hikes that I wanted to do and they were on my bucket list. And then we just kind of went back to BC and did Fairmont Hot Springs. So that was also fun. Like it's hard for me to pick a favorite moment as a family because each one has like its like amazing moments themselves.
do you want to share what the glacier hikes were in case anyone's interested in going to Glacier?
Yeah, no, for sure. So it was your hidden lake. So we did like the ones that mostly people would do. So we did Hidden Lake. It wasn't that busy because we went at the end of the season, which I highly recommend going at the end of the season. Yeah, the temperature isn't going to be your summer, hot temperature, but it's less crowded. There's a chance you will actually be able to do that hike and find parking. You
Hmm.
don't have to pay for permits at that time at Glacier National Park. So yeah, we did Hidden Lake and kind of like you, that was very windy.
Mm.
We were not aware that the east side of Glacier National Park gets super windy, but the water is gorgeous. We saw mountain goats, like baby mountain goats. We even saw a bear in a distance hunting, which I thought was very fascinating. I've never seen a bear dig and hunt ever, and that was fascinating to me. Another hike we did was Grinnell Glacier, and I think that should be on people's bucket list.
Okay.
Grinnell Glacier, 100%. It is a long hike. It is 19.3 kilometers long. Um, 6-hour hike. Amazing, breathtaking. You have emerald colored lakes. You will see moose. You will see bighorn sheep. You will see mountain goats. Apparently there was a mama bear with grizzlies. Did not run into her, but there was one apparently that day. There's massive waterfalls everywhere. Wildflowers if you go during, the fall. It's I don't know how to explain it. You just have to go there, and it's amazing. Like just even look up the photos. If anyone's listening, look up Grinnell Glacier, and then you're gonna be like, yeah, that's on my list.
Glacier is unreal. Glacier National Park. I grew up going there, and
Okay.
it's unreal. We live pretty close to the national park just north in the Canadian side, which is
Yeah.
Waterton. And but Glacier National Park is so beautiful, especially the fall colors. I'm sure you experienced that too, just like driving up
Hmm.
and down the valleys and the passes. It's incredible any time of year, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
super good to go in those shoulder seasons.
Yes. Yeah. So I would, yeah, put that on your list if you haven't visited. I can't imagine what it's like in the summer because when you're driving, right, going to the Sun Road, you have all these waterfalls just on the side of the road. I cannot imagine how gorgeous it looks when the water is at full, like in early spring,
Yeah.
where you have all that water coming down. I can't. Oh, and it's a beautiful place, and I can't imagine, like, I can't believe we have such beautiful places on Earth. I say thank you, God, for these things.
Yeah. So the inspiration is incredible. Yeah. Thanks for talking with me today, Susanne. I think that was super inspiring hearing about your winter activities, and you listed off a ton of cool places that I think people would love to check out. So would you share how we can follow along with you and your family's hiking and different adventures going forward from
Yeah,
here?
for sure. I'm mostly on Instagram on Nakash, or yeah, handle is at the dot cupid. I do have a TikTok, but my TikTok is more geared to like dancing with my kids. But if
Okay.
you really like that, you can tune in on that. But mostly for all adventures and hiking is on my Instagram
I love that.
page. And I do hike reviews because I like to do hike reviews and hike videos to show people what to expect on a hike. And if anyone ever wants me to plan something for them, I am more than happy to. I've done it for so many people around the world. Like they've just reached out to me, which I thought was amazing. Like from the UK, I found reached out if I could do a road trip for them for
Aw.
BC, something for their family. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So honestly, yeah. Or if you're in the Cochrane area or Rocky Mountains area, if you need like a mom to hike with you, I'm around. Or if you're intimidated and you want just someone to join you, I'll be there. So,
I love that. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for listening to today's episode with Susanne. I was so encouraged by her optimistic, enthusiastic spirit about getting out there with her kids. I really think that that is one of the key things to taking our kids outside. If we have that, everything else falls into place. You can find all the places that she mentioned and all the gear she mentioned in the show notes. I also wanted to say, come on over to the Facebook page, come ask your questions to Susanne, come chat, come hang out with other like-minded women and mothers. The link is in the show notes. I can't wait to hang out. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you again soon.